Right, hold on. My cousin sent me a care package. Oh, coffee. There you go. 68 calories per mug. That's where it was all coming from. Coffee and tea and sugar. So good. Oh man. That sandwich and that coffee, so good. People have instantly been able to say, like, dude, you got sugar and caffeine again, haven't you? I was like, how can you tell? Because you're like, again. It's like, yeah, I know. Really, the only thing keeping you alive all that time was sugar and caffeine, right? Alright. It seems like it really does feel like it, the pickup. Insanity! So, for that not clear, for the entire month of whatever the last month was, what I think that's now October, so whatever last month was, I cut out all junk food. Okay? If you can't tell, I'm not exactly a huge guy, right? But I have a bit of an issue over the 140-pound mark, which is 66 kilos or something to that effect. And I get really kind of sluggish and lethargic and all that kind of stuff. And I'm talking to one of my friends, and she says, hey, yo, you know, your diet sucks balls. You eat a ton, and none of it is like healthy food, right? So like, you know, pizzas and burgers and takeaways and all that kind of stuff. You know, you want to drop to the 140 or below, ideally 133, and cut out the junk and see what happens. Like, cut out all of it. No, she wasn't as strict as what I did. So I cut out sugar, I cut out caffeine, I cut out you know, pretty much a majority of junk foods. You know, no takeaways, I had no dairy realistically. I had a couple of cheats because it was my youngest son's birthday and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part I was really strict. No snacks, just nothing. Just keeping it like being realistic. Okay. Here's the groove. I already know today I'm going to overeat. Hardcore. Majority of my daily intake of calories, and I'm not a calorie counter, come from usually like teas and coffees. So tea, coffee, milk, 2 sugars. You know, not always. Sometimes I do like a good black coffee. I love my coffee black. But a lot of empty calories were being pumped into my system. A lot of empty calories. Just sugar. You know, an empty calorie is something that holds no nutritional value, just gives you energy. Right? And I was probably pumping in, well, given the coffee from earlier, I was probably pumping in a good 600 plus calories a day in just empty calories from coffee and tea. Right? So I'm 5'9" to 5'11". We'll even it out and say 5'10", right? And depends on the temperature how big I get, but I generally weigh. I think I weighed in at something like 145 at the start, and I ended at 136.6 from cutting all that stuff out. My base metabolic rate. Now, I'm not a nutritionalist, so don't go balls deep on this. My base metabolic rate was something like 1,250 calories. Right, for my weight and my height. That's your base burn. If you're not doing anything else, if you're sat on your ass, watching TV, listening to music, I don't know, flicking through Pornhub, whatever, that's your base burn. If you're not walking about, lifting shit, doing whatever, that's your base burn. Okay? So, I didn't, because I am largely sedentary, I don't need to eat a lot. I love food, as everyone does, but I didn't need and don't need to eat a huge amount. So I've been able to cut down to like 2 meals a day, and that'd be fine. If you are sat on your ass all day, despite what people tell you, you do not need to eat 3 full meals a day. Okay? It's just that's just logical. Now, if you take my base metabolic rate and then calculate my average daily burn, I think it came in at something like 1,750. So less than what they recommend the daily intake for a lassie to be. I think a woman's recommended daily intake, active daily recommended intake, is something like 2,000 calories, 2,500 to 3,000 for a guy. But again, most of us aren't active. We're just not. We're sat there watching Netflix, watching YouTube, maybe walking to the shop. Most of us are driving, but, most of the walking is to the fridge to get more food, yeah? So, and I'm not stupid, I've done the maths before. So I've spent a lot of time in and out of hospital through my life, and I know how my body works, right? And here's the groove. Like I say, you don't need a huge amount of calories. If you want to stay at your current rate, your current size, you can just look up online how many calories you need to eat based on the activity that you do in a day. If you are sat at a desk all day, you don't need a huge amount of calories. You just don't. If you want to get to 10 stone, you type in, or 15 stone or whatever, you type in whatever weight you want to be, what is the base calorie rate for that weight, based on your height as well, and then just basically eat that, and the rest of your body fat will just drop off until you get to that weight. Because I don't want to work out. I could if I wanted to get skinnier, but I don't want to work out, So look at it this way. Find out where the empty calories are if you don't want to work out. And that's what I'm thinking. I was drinking like 600 calories of nothing. 600 calories that did nothing for me. 600 calories could be like a couple of Mickey D's cheeseburgers, like a quarter pounder or a Big Mac. What would I rather have? The empty calories, or like the extra slices of pizza, or, the cheeseburger or something like that. It's not necessarily the type of food you're eating that's the problem. It's how much you're eating based on your activity. I think everyone knows that. But looking at it, it's so easy. As I said, my calorie burn, given my activity level, is probably sub 2,000. I've already eaten, but just that sandwich is probably over 400 calories. And I've got another meal coming that's about 800 calories, which I have been looking forward to all month. I'm going to be really pushing it today. But it's when you know that, you can say, which stuff don't I need? Which stuff can I have in that thing's place? So if you do, like me, 600 calories of caffeine and sugar, in teas and coffees and that, you can go, well, what would I rather have? I could have a glass of water instead, which isn't as rad as the coffee, but when you add that up over the day, you could have like 400 calories spare in the bank. You could just shove in your face. Again, I'm not a calorie counter, but it's just something that I've looked at for this kind of thing right now, right? So figure out what you can kind of palm off to replace it with something else. Would you rather have that slice of really nice cake, but it barely fills you, or have a couple of extra slices of pizza or something like that, or something like that? Find those empty calories and put them in the bin. Because I thought about it and I realised it was the drinks that were doing me in. all of those empty calories were what were making me feel so grog. Because as I say, anything over 140 pounds, I think 145 is usually my cap. Anything over that, and I start to feel really crappy. Really crappy. And dropping under that, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. Now I'm even better now that I've got caffeine and sugar back in my system. But I'm going to have to limit those empty calories. I'm already kind of being naughty, so I'm on my third cup of coffee, and I thought I'd only have 2. So that would have put me up to about 120 calories. And then I could have had big food. But I've been naughty. I'm on 3. It's so easy. The good food is so high in calories, and you just want to eat more of it. Eat slowly too, by the way. But I am so glad to be off that groove. But I knew where the empty calories were. I knew what needed to be cut. But it's one of my favourite parts of the day. Right. Big food, and then I'm going to go and tinker with my laptop for a bit. I'm not going to make a huge deal out of this kind of stuff anymore, but I don't find this stuff to be very hard. Restraint is a big thing. You've got to pick and choose where you want to go and figure out what you can have, and is that slice of cake really worth it? You know, do you really need that extra slice of cheesy bread or whatever, you know? So if you don't want to work out, it's really simple. If you overeat, you're going to have to work out. Otherwise, you're going to start getting bigger. Again, I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm not a dietitian. I'll let folks figure that out for themselves. But yeah, guess it's a bit harder if you've got an addictive personality too. But I get that. Like food. Jalapeno burgers, by the way. I'm fucking waiting for those since the start of last month. People were tormenting me last month. So much good food, and I can't eat it. Just can't eat it. But it's not necessarily what you eat. It is what you eat, but it's what would you rather eat instead of the empty. Find those wasteful calories, put them to the side, and eat the stuff that you actually like. You know? Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Everything is eventually bad for you if you gorge on it. So, yes. Oh, mate. I got distracted. Reinstalling everything on the Lenovo X230. It took a bajillion years to update the Windows install on there that I never use. There's a 64 gig. It's not M2, the older one. 64 gigs, little doobry card in the X230, just for Windows, just so I could play Rocksmith on it. Don't ask. Turns out it's also got a bunch of my guitar amps and stuff on there, and I reinstalled Manjaro. That was fun, but now I'm starting to remember why the fuck I left Manjaro to start with. There's nothing wrong with Manjaro, but just as a note, OBS right now does the thing where you close it, and then everything kind of rescales when you open it. And by rescale, I mean like the preview window goes from the normal size window to there's nothing there, and you have to scale the window to drag the window down to make the normal size again, because for some reason it fucking forgets every time you close the fucking app. Stupid. But Linux, I love you so much. There is one last thing I have to do today before I start faffing around with little projects that I'm probably going to be doing for a little while. Oh, I've been looking forward to this. Hello, my beauty. It's about time. It's not often I get to have you these days. And the fact that there was a bottle of it just sat in my cupboard all month, or most of the month. Absolute torture. One of my favourite drinks until the British government decided they were going to put on a sugar tax, and then barbling, no, no one will pay more money for the good stuff. And then they already had an aspartame loaded version and a diet version, and then they decided to turn the normal version into a bastardised version of the pear. And despite what they say, it did taste different. And then they decided they were going to release this stuff with sugar in it and charge more for it. And scary, glass bottle. Don't normally get glass bottles in the UK because one of the few places on the planet where glass is also a verb. That's why we're not trusted with their actual pint glasses when you go to the pub. Some places do, but they're fucking mental. Oh, love it. It's like a fine wine. Oh, it's so good. They do sweets of this too. Oh. Oh, God, give me more. Oh, no more. Oh, God. I'd be halfway tempted to do a fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin, just pour it in my face, but I'd be wasting iron brew at that point. I feel bad because I've just wasted a load of it in my beard, but... Oh, it smells so good. I'm not an alcoholic, but... I'd happily take diabetes from iron brew any day of the week. Not something you should joke about, because diabetes ain't fun. Don't know, haven't got it, been tested for it, not ideal, because I love sugar. Oh man, I'm just gonna lift my shirt, but no, you don't want to see my fucking beer gut and spill out over the floor. Right, I've got a project for the next little while. I'll probably actually talk about it tomorrow, but I want to start it tonight, or at least part of it tonight if I can. But I'm not entirely sure if I want to nuke this again and re-roll with Fedora, because I don't know, man. I've become flat packs. You've won me over. You just won me over. This has just been a complete and utter ball ache. Config files suck nuts, man. In this, like I said, it's not OBS. It's not remembering how I've configured it. Eat a dick. But I've got a few projects I want to do. They involve Linux and potentially this SSD, which I'm sourcing for now. It's all basically down to us saving a bit of Wonga, and as I say, it'll be better explained tomorrow, I suppose, because I won't go into huge amounts of detail tomorrow. But basically, why pay for streaming services when you can spin up your own servers? Streaming services are supposed to be cheaper than having a cable connection, and I think by my rough maths, we're spending well over 50 to 70 quid on streaming services a month in this house just to watch stuff we want to watch. That's dumb. I say put that in the bin. Straight out, just fuck it right off, mate. Get done, son. Like, they're finding ways to nickel and dime you every fucking time. Hey, yo, you used to be able to watch this show there? Well, now we're rolling out our own thing because licensing. Kiss my ass. Okay, I'll go into that tomorrow. I've set up a light streaming rig on the X230 for the lols because, well, I was going to be playing some Hypercharged Unboxed with Divine tonight, but he's fucked himself up playing with his Splatshot Junior. Don't ask. But now he's got a paint sprayer. So I'm probably going to dick around and see if it works. I used to stream off this little laptop once upon a time, actually, believe it or not. It'll comfortably do 720-30, I hope, depending on what capture card I plug into it. Another thing for another day, maybe. I don't know. Basically, if your capture card requires you to use motion JPEG, you end up using more resources to pull in a source from a motion JPEG capture card than you would off something more higher end like an Elgato or a Magewell, or there's a bunch of other ones. But anything that uses motion JPEG to get 1080-60 is going to spank your processor because it takes more to decode and then re-encode and stuff. So yeah. Also, Manjaro has decided that it's going to put the direct audio capture on ALSA. Why? It's never done that before, but what do I know, eh? Everything's fucking broken. So stuff to do. I'm looking forward to this next month, man. It's going to be absolutely maybe not fantastic, I don't know. For anyone who is actually looking to lose weight, though, you can do it. It's not hard to do, or the process isn't hard, but the mind games are. Okay? You got to really want that shit to do it. Because you're the only person that can do it. Any number of pills or surgery, don't do it. Because you can still come out the other side overeating like a complete nut. You have to break the habits. So just do it. Just take some time to kind of detox and force yourself through it, and cleanse your palate, and just, like I said, just break those habits, and you can do it. Just break the damned habits. If you look at the fridge and you're going for a snack, just go, no, I can't do it. I've got to take this seriously. And I tell you, in a few weeks' time, you will break the habit and you'll just go, ain't going to bother. Or you might occasionally look at it and go, no, I don't need that. You know, you'll want it, but you'll just go, nah, it's not worth it. And as soon as you start seeing the changes, well, then there you go. So, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to spin up that server tomorrow. I've got some parts coming. You could spin up your own server and it'll cost you less than it would do to pay for all your other subscriptions. If you've got like 5, 6, 7, however many subscriptions, spinning up your own server is probably going to be considerably fucking cheaper through the course of a year. So, right, I'm off. Got down to 136.6 in a month. I'd say that's a win. Right? So that's probably the last I'll talk about the foodie stuff. But it has been absolutely delicious. I'm telling you. So good. You can eat anything you want, just do it in moderation. Don't go fucking hardcore on it. Anyway, yeah. Hope you're all good. Oh, come back to me. Hope you're all good. This isn't how I wanted to end the vlog. I actually had something in mind and then I forgot because I realised I wanted to have some iron brew. Oh, yes. And I'll see you all, with a bit of luck, in the next one. If you haven't tried the stuff, give it a go. It's an acquired taste, but fuck, it's good. When they announced the sugar tax was coming and they were changing the recipe, I bought like fucking 40 bottles of the stuff and put it in my garage. See you in the next one.